Hello and welcome back to another episode. What do you like to do in Minecraft when you're bored, when you're procrastinating, when you're between projects? Well, I like to grind, and grind I do. So, in between, I've had the time to run the tunnel bore for quite a while. We have a large open space. I've gathered loads of materials and stuff like that, so I can just deposit them all. What have we got? A lot of little things we're picking up, make things all nice there. So that is what I've been doing. No accidents with the machine, definitely not. I've also added in a few new modules for the storage system. So I've got ores and more, which is just kind of our ore supply there. A lot of deep slate diamond coming through, some food, and utility. I've also got an empty spot here, and we've got one more row to fill in. So where does that leave us in terms of random stuff that is currently just being stored? It leaves us with a double chest and a chest. So a lot of coloured stuff, flint, yeah. This is kind of more treasure items, and then the trial chamber loot there. This is all rubbish. But like I said, when I'm bored, I like to grind. So I have been chipping away at tearing out some of this stuff here. It was about up to here, so I've just popped in a beacon. I went and got a second one because why not, and then did that. So that's kind of edging its way towards there. I have also bred up sheep of each colour, so that might give you a little bit of a hint as to what we're doing today. In addition to, you're not a sheep. Whoa. In addition to, the title and the thumbnail. Well, the Witch Village is a project that I started in episode 3 of the series. It is now episode 20, so it's been about 4 months since we actually worked on the village itself. The forest behind we worked on more recently, and the spawn chunks and the factory over that way. So we are a little bit of ways. So it's just beyond there is kind of the starter village, and then just beyond that is our base. So the Witchy Village is something that I've had in my head. This is kind of our first house. We're going to be, the plan today is to plan out the village, okay? Because I've got the final design in my mind. I know what I want it to look like. I don't know how we're going to get there. I don't know what the individual buildings are going to look like. I just know kind of the plan, the shape, and the forest that surrounds it. So let's give you a little bit of a tour of the building that we made so long ago. So we've got a nice tree. Then we have the aesthetic, which is kind of crumbling a little bit. So it used to be kind of like an old clay mining town before it fell into ruin, and the witches took over, and then are using it. They've repaired it in ways, and then they're using it for their own mysterious gains, but they haven't repaired everything here, so we've got a little bit of a ruin. Empty first layer. This comes out into a broken tower. And then here, it's going to be a fireplace. Downstairs, we've got a bed. You can tell that it's a episode 3 thing, because I didn't have anything, really. Second floor, empty corridor, then it opened up to a nice big mouth here, which is being summoned in from the summoning circle here that has been placed on the roof. So that was kind of like my idea, that I then built the rest of this off. So I thought about that, and then I thought about this, and then it all just kind of merged in together there. So the plan is to kind of have 5 houses which the witches have kind of built and moved, or rebuilt and moved into, that are all done slightly differently in how they're repaired, and the plan is to kind of have it in a pentagram shape. So you have the tip of the triangle, you have one over here, one over here, one over here, one over here, and then lots of ruins in between. And then in the middle, we're going to have our nice big mine entrance, because if you remember, not as far back as episode 3, but episode 4, we made this thing down here, which is going to take a little bit of time to get to. There we go. It looks absolutely terrible in this resource pack. I forget. I've got it on full brightness so that I can see easily. Let it reload. There we go. There's the atmosphere. So a nice cave with our skeleton spawner in it. So we've got a skeleton spawner, and then we can go down below into the bone pit where we've got our storage. We're storing up bone blocks, we're storing bones, we're storing arrows, and we've got a dispenser auto crafter in there, which currently I've taken all the dispensers from. So that's kind of where we are at. So we've got the abandoned mine, which we need to somehow link up with what will be the center of our village. So I think we're about in line here. I'm happy with this being the middle, but we need to of course look at planning. So the plan is to get a nice amount of colored blocks. In this case it's going to be wool, in order to plan out our little village. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we're going to create a sheep farm now, and then using those different colors to kind of place out where our buildings are going to go, our paths and any other things as well. And then we can use different colors for the different styles of buildings. So for the main buildings, we're going to be using one color, and then for the little smaller ruins, we're going to use another color. And then all of that should hopefully then leave us with a nice floor plan of where all of our builds are going to go in our village. Now you can scale this up or down as much as you'd like. There is one problem with wool, and that wool is a little bit annoying to remove, so I might end up making this farm and then just using any other random block anyway that's easier to remove. But that's not the point, because wool farm yabba yabba. So we're going to do a really simple design. We're going to have a hopper minecart on top, and then the grass above the hopper minecart, and then the sheep is going to be stood on that grass, and then there is an observer detecting when the grass is eaten, and then it will then shear the sheep. The wool then drops on the floor, picks up by the hopper minecart, and goes through the floor. Really, really simple. 2 sheep for each. Well, we're going to build 2 modules with each colour in mind, and just go like that. So really simple sheep farm, and that will be done now. So our super simple sheep farm has been finished. Try saying that one 10 times fast. It's currently in the process of filling up with shears. As you can see just in front of our eyes, it is working. Where are we up to with the shears? Oh, we're completely full on this side. Are we filling up the top? We must be. So little problem, as you can see, is that wool is getting caught on this little ledge here, which is a problem. To fix that, I'm going to try and put some trapdoors blocking that bit there, so hopefully they won't get caught, and that is the plan with that. You may notice, oh yeah, so we're filling up all of our hoppers over here. So I'm going to hop into spectator mode to show this bit off here. This is going to be our, this is our shear auto crafter. It's got a little bit of logic to it. So this comparator here is being powered by this redstone block. That means that it's only sending out a signal when this chest is full. When the chest fills up, that then means that this torch comes off, which then moves the redstone block back. This then means that this comparator is now checking for any items in the chest, which means it is basically sending a signal when the chest is completely full or completely empty. So when it's completely full, then it will send a signal out to this torch, which will then turn off this hopper clock here, which is connected to our shear auto crafter here. This little contraption bit here is to lock the hopper in case there's no iron in here, or there's one iron. Because what we don't want to happen is that one piece of iron comes through here, this is trying to craft, and it crafts up some nuggets when we're trying to craft up shears. So if there's not an item in each of these slots here, then this comparator will be locked. This comparator will be powered, and one slime ball isn't enough to override that power there. So that's our shear crafter. Above that, we have the same setup, except this time it is checking for not a full chest because we're not powering it with a redstone block. I messed up on the last one, so we should see it working at some point. But we can see here the iron crafter is not currently crafting because it's not being powered, because that block there has been retracted. So we've got our crafting setups here, and it's all just going to hopefully flow down. Sorry, it is just going to all flow down, filling up all of these dispensers. We're about up to here, so that'll just take a little bit of time. I'm not too worried about this. It'll take a long time for all of those, everything to them and go away. So that there is our setup for crafting shears from iron blocks. And so the last thing we need to do now is trapdoor all of this, and hopefully we should be all right there. As you can see, we are getting some wool in here already. Fantastic work. It's hardly been running. So now the system is filled with shears, we can now see the effects of it being full. So this chest is full of shears, therefore redstone block retracted. This one's no longer crafting, and because this is full, that's also not crafting theirs. I have done it again. I have procrastinated. I've been destroying this trial chamber, and for no real reason other than to put off making progress. Yeah, that's it. Sheep farm's been running well. Nice. We got a good old bundle. Made a little change here to put some grass in up here on this level, so that it can spread a little bit quicker, and hopefully that just sees a little bit of an increase in the rates. As you can see, we've got plenty of wool kicking about here, so I'm just going to take a few colours and we'll take them over to the project area ready for our plan. We want some fairly differing colours. We'll just grab 5 stacks of each, and let's grab magenta. There we go. That'll probably be alright. Yeah, while we fly over there, let's have a chat about my state of how I play this game. So, as you may or may not have been able to tell from the episodes, with 20, are we in 20? I don't know, I think we're at 20 now. But with 20 episodes in the series, and one of them have been built, well, 1.5 I'd say. So one episode dedicated to building in terms of the witch house, and then half an episode dedicated to building the skeleton spawner, and then 2 to the forest, I guess, but that's kind of separate. The forest is more like terraforming, and then in terms of just straight up building like we've got with the house, I really struggle with. So yeah, it's something I want to get better at, but I don't know where to start. I put it off a load. So I think probably what will happen is that we'll get a rough plan in, mainly just the big pentagram and a few more buildings, and then I will either not make any progress for quite a while, or I'll make some progress, but it'll probably be not a lot of progress. I really struggle with that creative side. I've got ideas, but it's bringing them into the game really that's a struggle, even in creative mode. The creativity side of things I really struggle with. If I've got reference images and stuff like that, then I can copy, even if it's just so. Yeah, I'll try and find some reference images, and then that really helps me out. But I want to get better at just build palette, shape, idea. Like I've got an idea for a desert city / thing, which I really want to do. But the problem with this world is that the deserts are fairly small, and I'd like a much larger desert, and there's none for thousands of blocks either. So like it's just a little bit of a struggle with deciding things, deciding what you do and you don't want to do, especially when you're then documenting it and then uploading it for people to see, and they watch you for that. So it's a little bit of a struggle. So I'm going to get through this one, and we're going to see where I can go from there. So I didn't pick up the wool box. I didn't pick up the wool box. Where's my shovel as well? Shovel's in there. I didn't pick up the wool box. Oh, what a silly man. What have I got? Oh yeah, loads of birch leaves. Yeah, I didn't pick up the wool box. Okay, so that's a great start already. So the plan is to line up the center of our pentagram shape with the entrance to the mine. So I would like it to be dead in line with the path that we set up over here. So I'm just going to kind of mark a way out and then find where the middle is in comparison to where our house is, and then we can then start planning our shape along after that. So we'll keep on coming, and then where do we want to end up in line with? Do we want to center? I think we want to center align this on the house, right? So we want it to be in line with this there. So we're going to come a little bit further. I can't see anything now. So we're going to carve this out, not for any reason other than just to find that middle spot, which I believe is here. Yeah, so there's the middle of our house. So then we're going to carve out that kind of pentagram shape. Not carve out, I'm going to place out with our markers, and then we'll use our wool markers to mark out those big buildings around the outside of the shape. So there it is. It looks pretty funky from above, doesn't it? So the plan is that we're going to have the houses, the main ones, on all 5 of these points. We've already got this one over here. Before we add in any of that, I think we're going to adjust the terrain a little bit, because I'm not happy with this big bump in the middle. I'd rather the bump kind of be over this corner here. So this house over here is going to be raised up. It's going to flatten off towards the middle, and then these ones I'm pretty happy with where they are. All right then, so we have terraformed, we have flattened out some of the land around here. It's still not perfectly flat, which is exactly what we want, because if it was flat then it wouldn't be very good. Now I tried not to go too far out because of course we are going to coarse dirt the floor around the outside of the village, so I try not to go too far, although maybe I've overdone it a little bit in this corner, but that's all good. It'll make it a little bit similar to... Ooh. Shuffle my chair there. It'll make it a little bit simpler to figure out where the terrain goes from the forest afterwards anyway. So I've also dug out kind of this middle bit in here. This is where the entrance to the mine's going to be. It's not going to go all the way back here. I've just kind of left this thing here just as a reminder of a rough place for it. So the plan is to have some sort of elevator, redstone elevator that takes you all the way down into the mine here. And then over there is our skeleton farm. And then these bits here, it's a little bit higher up. So we want to have the entrance kind of down in this little pit. So there'll be kind of cliff faces there. It won't go all the way down. I've just kind of got rid of the grass just to tell me what I want to do with that. So now we're going to work on getting some of the paths in as a rough guideline. So we're going to use path blocks. So we're just going to run around, whack the floor with our shovel. And I think our path is going to go from the door over here down this little valley bit around, and then the path is going to come kind of looping around to around here. There's going to be another path that goes along the top of this cliff edge here. We'll probably have a few more buildings, derelict buildings in this area here, so our paths will kind of scoot around this area. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave, because I don't know the exact sizes of any of the buildings that I want to build yet, I'm going to leave kind of rough blobs of wool of where they're going to go, and the wool that I gathered earlier despawned, so I've grabbed the different box full of stuff. So let's start our little plan, and then I'll do the rest of it off camera here. So we're going to bring from the door, kind of looping down into this little valley section here, and then it's going to come along around the edge here. And then there's going to be a path there, and then coming down around the cliff edge, we're going to have a path around here, which kind of loops around near the cliff edge, coming over this way, and then we're going to have one of our proper buildings over here, so that is going to be a little bit of cyan wool there, and we'll have the path kind of going around a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting. And then we'll have kind of a ruined building in here, I reckon, in this area. And then we've got a little room up this way. So if we think about buildings' purposes, so what I'm thinking is we've kind of got these 5 main ones around the outside. Those were, I don't want to say more wealthy in the village. Yeah, I'm not sure. So to plan this out, we've got to kind of think of the use of the village before it was in ruin, and then now not so much after, because we know what the after is, but we've got to come up with the before and why some of these buildings were here, because coming up with a story that makes things a lot easier to kind of get things in. So these ones are on the outside, potentially some of the more wealthier families in the area, maybe next to each of these wealthy ones. We've got a smaller building which is kind of the business and why they are so much wealthier, so potentially like a baker's thing here, but then how did they get the wheat? Now the way that they got the wheat, we don't know, because this is completely in woodland. There's maybe a few small little farms, but not enough to sustain a bakery, so that's a little bit confusing there. So what that means is that we need a path that links up with the outside. And this path that links up with the outside is going to go off somewhere this direction, because what I'm planning to have is the forest is going to stretch out this way, and our main base is over there, and so the path is going to kind of come along here, the main road, which goes this way, and then there's going to be more buildings of a different kind over that way. So the path kind of comes here, which means that there's going to be a path that kind of connects over this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop in our building here in our colour that tells us that this is not a ruined one. This is one of the witchy buildings that's been sustained. and then we're going to have our path kind of leading off over this way through the forest, and that's going to be our main pathway into town, which means we might have a few more buildings kind of scattered around this area here. So we're going to have a ruined one kind of at the entrance. We'll have maybe another one in here. So we're kind of creating that main street coming along here. Okay, so here we have it, the final rough weird saying it like that, but the final rough plan. Everything's subject to change. Don't want to put anything in solid because none of it is going to stay like it is. Everything, subject all to change when we start actually putting in the buildings. There definitely won't be this many, the yellow ruined ones, because they'll be bigger. And so, for example, like in here, you probably just have one building. Over here, where there's 5 really close, you might only have like 2 or 3. But I just want to kind of cover the area of where they'll kind of be, and you can see the paths coming in. There's a bit of a mess here, so this is kind of like going to be a little bit of an open area, maybe like a town square, and then a few little paths leading off to the different places. A few are loops, a few are dead ends, and then a few are just kind of meandering around town. It's kind of all a big circle, especially when you've got kind of a circular shape like this. I don't want the village all to be this circle, so it's going to be a little bit rough, but I do want the main 5 houses to kind of be the outside. I don't really want there to be a building behind. Maybe I do want a building behind it, but definitely not on this side. Probably only on these 2 sides here. So there, maybe behind that one or that one are probably going to be the only ones where it could be a building behind it. Probably more so on this side, because this is the entrance and the main path that is going to have trees falling over it. So it's like they've been cut off from the outside world. There's going to be trees falling down all along the old path as well. So there's not really a hint to anyone in the outside world that this village is here, unless, well, they'll be able to see through the tree line, but that's fine. That's besides the point. So we have done a nice little bit of progress here, showing you how to plan kind of any sort of build in a rough manner. Of course, we're not getting too far into it, how to lay out. So kind of planning out your layout. That's what we've done today. Next time, Max procrastinates on the village. Well, we've now got the layout done, so that means that we can start work on something else. Let's go, go, go. Max fixes his sheep farm. Why is there cooked mutton in there? What? Have my sheep been struck by lightning? Are you kidding me? And teases the secret project. I can't believe only one person's found it so far. I mean, what? It's been months. Been months since it's been able to be found, and only one guy's found it. Well, there we have it. The plan for the village is now in. Like I said, it is a rough one, but because I've now made progress here, it means that I can put this off for another couple of months. Get in there. No, I do hope to come in here and maybe build up a little bit sooner. Just lacking that inspiration for those main buildings around the outside. The ruined ones around the middle should be fairly easy. There should be just kind of like the style of the ruined bits of this one. So those should be fairly easy to build, fairly fun. It's those main ones really that are the kind of the problem for me in my inspiration. So we're probably going to end up doing something else next episode. So I hope that you will join me for that. If you have enjoyed, make sure you subscribe to see what happens next week. Leave a comment if there's anything interesting happening in your Minecraft world. Let me know about those. And please leave a like on the video as well. It does all come together to help out the channel and me. So thank you very much, and goodbye.